Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for appearing before this committee today. I want to start off by thanking you for a visit to Columbia County last year, where you looked firsthand at some of the problems with regard to the September 2011 flood. And I certainly want to give thanks to Tom Santana of your staff for coordinating that effort. And after your visit, we ran into a situation where we were just very, very close to acquisition of flood damaged properties, and it came down to the wire, and one piece of paper was holding up the process, and worked very well with Tom and your department and everybody to clear that up, so thank you again. I'd like to talk to you today about stream debris and gravel bar removal. One of the major problems that Columbia County faced, and we're not like any other area of the state, that after a major event that we have a collection of debris on what we'll call mature gravel bar areas that really aggravate the situation when you have a high water event. And I know that one of the projects that we did in Columbia County in conjunction with another project through your department was to remove a portion of a gravel bar that was creating some problems. Now, I've been on this committee for a number of years and have asked the question every year with regard to stream cleanup funding, and we've seen that funding evaporate and then come back after a major event. So I think that we have an opportunity on hand right now to do a pilot program, and my question to you would be if you would favor a pilot program for private interest to remove the usable, what really is usable material from gravel bars, to minimize the cost of your department in trying to coordinate something of that nature, that if there were a pilot program, if you'd be in favor of exploring the possibility of that, coordinating with a local entity or a private entity to help in assisting the removal of these gravel bars and the debris. And my second question is, and you alluded to this earlier, that working with other departments, and I want to focus specifically, if you could give us examples of how you are coordinating efforts at the local level, because every event eventually involves a local government entity. And what are your department's efforts to coordinate with those local entities to clean up certain problematic areas? You talked about Act 13 funding, and I think, again, we have another opportunity here for a pilot program if we dedicate a portion of those Act 13 funds to our local conservation districts who have hands-on knowledge of these local problematic areas. So if you care to comment on that, I appreciate it.
Sure. Two good questions. One, first, let me thank you for inviting me up to Columbia County to show me your neck of the woods and on the ground what happened there. That really was appreciated by my part, or on my part, and showed, I think, great leadership on your part, frankly.
Thank you.
On the pilot program, I obviously would need to know more about it, but I'm always willing to listen and talk about a pilot program, pilot project of which you described. When you talk about that kind of project, you're talking about getting the right kind of permits that you need from the federal government, from the state government, all of that sort of thing. And of course, there's the science between or about what gravel bar removal does, if anything. The nature of that river, I think my experts tell me that is just, the gravel placement is a natural occurrence of that alluvial type of river. I'm not an expert in it, they are. But no question that some tactically smart projects, I think, are worth looking into. On the second question, as you know, and through any emergency, it all percolates up from the local level, from local to county to state, sometimes even to federal. You were quite right about the Act 13 and the Commonwealth Financing Authority. As a matter of fact, the CFA, I think just within the last several weeks, approved guidelines for CFA projects from the Legacy Fund for, amongst other things, flood control projects. So I think that is something that is an opportunity. I think you're quite right.
And I think if we can coordinate those efforts with our local conservation districts, Mr. Secretary, I think that's a win-win for us. And with regard to gravel bar removal, I look at it as leaves collecting on a drain that, it takes a minimal effort from time to time to remove them, and if we don't remove them, it aggravates the resulting water that can't get into that drain. So I think we have an opportunity here at hand, and I certainly welcome the future discussion with you and your staff on pursuing maybe a pilot program. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Thank you.